Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this episode of Taco Tuesday, where Glen, Shelton, the founder of Lead Heroes, and myself talk about tacos, insurance, upcoming AEP, and all things going on in the industry on a week-to-week basis every single Tuesday. It goes live in our private Facebook group, Six Figure Medicare Agent. This week we were able to have the good fortune of having an awesome guest, a friend of mine, Allie, Saleh, who is part of a great organization called Strong Family Financial. They're looking for agents if any of you watching might need a home. And Ollie hosts a great podcast where they put out a ton of great content on a consistent basis called the Strong Life Podcast. And it was just a great conversation about business, about the insurance industry, about life. And it was one of my personal favorite Taco Tuesdays to date. Before we get into this, I just really need to quickly talk with you about our sponsor, Lead Heroes. Guys, if you're not familiar with what Lead Heroes brings to the table, they're going to bring you top-notch quality of telemarketed leads on a consistent basis, whether it be Medicare supplement leads, whether it be final expense leads, whether it be turning 65 leads, whether you just want to hire one of their custom callers to kind of pay them by the hour and make calls and kind of feed you leads and preset appointments for you potentially. They even can do live transfer leads. They just really got something for everybody. Just because you watch this video today, there's going to be a coupon code down in the description of this video for 10% off any order you make at checkout on the Lead Heroes website. There's a link to their website down in the description as well as the coupon code. We use these leads on a consistent basis. They don't just give you high quality leads. They put out great content and information to help you close the leads at a higher rate, which you don't see that everywhere. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Taco Tuesday. I didn't start recording until a little bit farther in, so you kind of miss a little bit of the taco talk, but all the good stuff is there. Thanks for watching.
All of us are going to be really busy in one way, shape, or form, I imagine.
Oh, for sure.
Open enrollment period. What are you two guys expecting? What have you done in terms of preparation in your business? I know, Ollie, you work with Strong Family Financial, which is a brokerage. Glen, yep. You run Lead Heroes, which is a telemarketing lead company. What has been your guys' approach for AEP and kind of what do you foresee? Ollie, let's start with you.
Perfect. So there's a couple of things. So let me tell you guys a little history about us at Advantage Plans. When I came on board with Jamie Strong, our founder back in 2009, he was doing Advantage Plans. And then the next year we did a little bit less, and the next year we did a little bit less, and the next year it was gone, right? And then we pretty much stopped. And then we picked it back up about 4 years ago. Is really what we did. About 4 years ago, we picked it back up, just our leaders. Then the next year was just our leaders and our trainers. Then the next year was just our leaders, our trainers, and some of the newbies. Well, this year I'm trying to open it up some more to another level to have more of our agents that want to do it. And now we've also planned and prepared. We're at Walmart stores. There's going to actually be, after we've gone back and forth about this, looks like there's going to be 4 Walmart stores that we're going to be at 20 hours a week generating leads there. We got obviously our agents that are here that are certified. And then we also have like an internal referral program because some people aren't going to get certified. So within the organization, if you get somebody, but you're not certified or you were too late into the game, that you'll still be able to get a little something as a spiff for someone that goes out and writes it and gets the business. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but we've had I would say 2 or 3 Saturdays where we had like AHIP day here. Come on into the office. We got people working on it. We'll help you out. We'll all work it together and get this thing done. All right, what company are you still trying to get done? Well, try to get team parties together and make that happen. So does that answer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just have a full mouth.
Perfect. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing we do. And, it's always in the rhetoric and we talk about it all the time, and then there's the guys that, they keep telling me they're going to get certified. They're going to get certified. And I'm sure they will. I just don't know when.
Right. Like, Glen, I want to kind of hear your perspective kind of rolling into AEP, but like, just to kind of piggyback off what you said, Ollie, like we'll have agents that we've sent contracting out 2 months ago and they're just starting to fill them out like this week. I'll get emails saying that they just filled out their contract and I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, well, you're just starting now, and that's obviously their prerogative. That's their own business. They're contracted agents.
Right.
They're 1099s, but it gets me to the point where I'm expecting to get a phone call on the 16th of October and being like, hey, can you do like a 2-hour training with me? And I'm going to have to say, no, I can't do it.
Yep. I mean, I get those phone calls too, right? So I'll get calls I remember last year I had at least a couple agents where it was like the day before open enrollment, and they're talking to me about trying to get leads started immediately for the next day or two. And I'm just like, I'm like, you're crazy. I'm like, we're booked out almost 3 weeks right now because, again, this is the time of year where this is all spiking. So, I think what I have in common with anyone coming into open enrollment is we're trying to create massive activity, and I'm trying to increase staffing right now. Even though my demand isn't necessarily there, I want to make sure I'd rather have people sitting around twiddling their thumbs if I absolutely have to, versus not be able to help someone out. And I would hope that's kind of everyone's mindset coming into open enrollment. When we were talking to Eric last week, Eric was talking about increasing activity across the board. You had a great post, Christian, talking about all the different marketing you're doing. And, you were telling me the other day, like, you're almost concerned you're not going to be able to get to all of your leads. And that's a great problem to have. Like, for
sure.
I would rather an agent say that than to say, oh man, my marketing ran out after 3 weeks. And then I, just sat around for the rest of open enrollment. So I think it's all about just anticipating what's coming and really trying to get ready, increase your activity level, increase your leads, increase what you're doing.
I think it comes back to cultural. I'll say this. Because the advantage space for us is something I feel like we continue to evolve, and it has been our bread and butter, there's a little natural lack of focus on it, right? Between the agents and the set, because they're more comfortable doing our traditional business our whole life, our Medicare supplements, our cancer policies, and our annuity business that we do. And we do a lot of estate planning. So this is where you got to come and bring some focus in. And if you're not all in, time moves really fast, and then you feel really far behind, and you're not going to get this done. Because now, right, we try to get some invitations for some of these companies. You're not going to get invited to do their certification. Man, you're so late into the game. You think you had a problem before, you're going to have a bigger problem now.
Right.
You have to plan and prepare. And I'll say this about cultural too. If you've got goals, right, Glenn? So if the organization you're working with, they have goals, you'll know how much they're bought into their goals based on the action they do in the process. Right. 100%. So if they plan on selling 10 policies, but they're working like they're going to sell one, they're never going to get to 10, whatever their number is. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great point. And it's interesting to me because I think this is something kind of a trend we see every year. And it makes me wonder, like, I hope for the agents that are like late to the game that, that they'll have as good of an AEP as possible. I mean, they can still contract, I suppose, get certified, and it might drag into a little bit into open enrollment, and we're trying to get as many of them done as I can last second. But I'm telling everybody, I'm like, I'll do everything in my power, to get this done for you. I'm like, but at the end of the day, it's like it's really pushing it. We probably should have done this a month ago, 2 months ago, in some people's cases 3 months ago. And
why do the carriers have blackout dates? Because they don't want to deal with this going into AEP.
Right. That's 100%. They know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah. It's 101. This really just wait. We should call these people out too. When it happens in a couple weeks, we should really call them out. Even if it's not by name, just making sure everyone understands, like, hey, we said this was going to happen.
Yep.
Here we are. We're a couple days before open enrollment.
100%.
Here are agents panicking just as we thought they were. It's crazy. It really is crazy.
You're right.
Allie, are you going to be attending 8% Nation?
So, buddy, I was looking at it last week. I was actually, because I had not gone, and I was texting with Cody about it because he's coming on our show actually on Thursday when we do our State of the Union. He's going to actually be on the show. So I had all planned to go, and now I have some other things that I got to do, so I'm not going to go. So I had not been planned to go. I wanted to. Some kid stuff has come up, so no, I'm not. I'm in a different space in my life, so I'm learning some stuff. My daughter Samantha, who's 19, she's in college now, Glenn. My daughter Theory's a senior, and she's active in Palm in high school.
I hope my kids never turn 19, Ollie.
Right. And then I have
kids never turn 19.
And then I have twins that turn 17 next month. Right. So my wife and I, we had very blessed, praise God. We had 4 kids in 3 years, but now we're on this other side, and I always try to make some plans. And I just, I waffle a little to serve my kids more because I just feel like they're getting older. I'm just trying to see some of these opportunities, which are just weird. Just my life is definitely tell my wife, I'm trying to learn how to get, navigate through this stuff,
Yeah.
Dude, hats off. We all have kids here. We're all family men. And,
sure.
I try to treat that same way, Ollie. If I have to, I'd rather lose a business opportunity and spend a little extra time with my family and my kids.
Sure.
So yeah, absolutely.
I was teasing my wife the other night, and I was like, think about it like this, because my wife will turn 30 in November, and I mean, she's still a baby, right?
Yeah, buddy, 30's cool.
But she doesn't realize it, So she's like all stressed out that she's about to turn 30. And I told her, I'm like, you realize when Violet's 20, you'll be 50? And she's like, or 51, and she's like, you shut your mouth. And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, I'll still be in my 40s, but you'll be 50. And she just gets so upset with me. But I told, I'm the biggest challenge, I think, for me, and I know we talked about this a little bit last week with Eric too. But like, I'd love to get your guys' perspective on this. You're building a business, you're building a career. Like, I was talking to someone today, and they're like, when do you spend time with your family? I'm like, probably not enough. They're like, I see you doing all these things that you're doing. When do you spend time with your family? I'm like, probably not enough. I'm trying to make sure to, not that I don't spend time with my family, but like I could probably spend more. It's very easy to let it kind of slip by, and kind of get sucked in.
So, Chris, what I always say to those people? I always ask, well, what does that mean? How much time do you think I should spend with my family? But how much time do you think my 2-year-old wants to spend with me? 10 hours, 8 hours, 10 minutes? What do you think it is? Right? I think it has zero to do with time. And I think it has all to do with quality of time. There's no reason. And I want to be clear, though. I think I want to be clear about this, too, because I do believe that as we're men here, so I'll just say this as men, I believe that the father's presence is important. But there's a difference between my presence and me spending time with them. My son or daughter knowing that dad walked home, kids, how's it going? What's going on? That's great. Okay. But I don't need to spend 3 hours with my son today just to say I spent 3 hours with him. I might need to spend 20 minutes with him, looking at him in the eye, talking to him, loving him, asking what's going on, what his interests are, and maybe watching the fourth quarter of a game. That might be cool, But, dude, that's still 45 minutes. How much time, and I'm going to sleep for 6. I'm going to work out for 1. There's 7 hours, and I got 4 kids. If each kid gets 45 minutes, that's only 3 hours. That's still only 10 hours in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I still got 14 hours. I think people break time down and they just get overdone with it.
Well, I like what you said about your presence too, because, we can work from anywhere, right?
Sure.
Right.
So,
sure.
It's easy to be around my kids, and I can just be on my
100.
phone, and I can just and say, hey, I'm actually doing something work related, like hang on. And so I've really tried, and we just had our 3rd kid. So I've really tried to basically do what you're saying, Ollie. Like, if I'm working, I want to be present for my employees, for my clients. I don't want to be thinking about what's going on with my family, and vice versa. If I'm with my family, I don't want to think about what's going on at work, because I've done it both ways. I've done it where I'm spending 90% of my week with my family, but I'm also kind of working while I'm doing it. And everyone loses, in my opinion, in that model.
Hey, but I'll tell you this too. I think, we also miss about relationships. I know this sounds like I'm acting like I know everything, but I want to share this. Think about this. Chris Rock did a stand-up show, and he talked about how him and his wife got divorced. But he talked about also his infidelity, and he cheated and all this kind of. He admits it. So it's not like, I'm talking derogatory about the man. He comes out and he talks about it in his story. But he talked about that people don't understand that we live in the text revolution. He goes, when my dad went to work, and Chris Rock was talking about when his dad went to work, he went to work. He goes, if one of my mom's kids died, Dad wouldn't know until he came home from work. Okay? He goes, be careful. And he goes, you wouldn't know until he came home. Well, how'd it go today? Well, we lost one of the kids. Oh, how did that happen? It'd just be part of the day.
Wait, what?
And he's being funny about it, right? He's being funny about it, right?
Yeah.
But he goes, everywhere I go, my wife's texting me. Where'd you go? What's going on? Where are you at now? He goes, by the time I get home, I don't even want to talk to her anymore. She's like, so how'd your day go? What do you mean how my day went?
Exactly.
There's value in the separation. When men back in the day were working in the farms, they went out. They didn't come back all day. She was like, hey, honey, you want another glass of water? That's not what she did. She was handling something else in the farm. You didn't see her till the end of the day. You didn't call her. You didn't text her. You didn't FaceTime her. You worked all day. And then you came home to your family. Now, I didn't say that's all the right way. I'm just saying separation is also good in your day-to-day operations. When my daughter Samantha says, Dad, I don't have to get blown up by you every morning. Well, honey, I feel like you're 90 minutes away. Every morning is going to be my middle ground. An hour and a half away and I can't come to your room. I'll call you. There's a separation agreement I'm making. You know? So I think that has value in it. So as we're talking about parenting and working, it's even your agents. Your agents might need some space. Sometimes it might be good for you to work from home to give your agents a little break. Oh, good, Dad's not here today.
Yeah.
A little break.
I totally agree with that. I think that's something that's got to be tough right now with so many people working from home.
Yep.
Trying to balance, I think it's almost easier to balance your work life with your home life when you're not working from home. I think it actually gets, and this is someone who's worked from home for years before the pandemic, before everything that's happened this year. So one question I have for you, Allie, to kind of transition back to open enrollment. We've talked so much about preparing for open enrollment. What this open enrollment is going to look like. You know, it sounds like you guys are pretty well diversified as far as your products and your offerings go. So I'm curious to know, like after open enrollment, once open enrollment's over, what are some things that you guys are looking at doing to capitalize on what the transactions that happen during open enrollment? How are you guys going to maximize that after the 7th, after open enrollment's over?
Okay. So, buddy, I guess I will tell you this. I feel like we have a fluid system in our organization. What I mean by that is the rules are the rules with MAs, right? They are what they are. You can't sell anything else if you're selling that. That doesn't matter what time of the year it is. So all year long, let me just say this. All year long, right, we're selling MAs, okay? And we're selling Medicare supplements. And we also sell the life insurance, cancer policies, hospital indemnity plans, and annuities. That's kind of our bread and butter. But I would tell you that 90%, I would say, I'm going to go on a limb here and say about 90% of all appointments that we run starting on October 15th, that is designed for the Advantage appointment. We will be back in that home 48 hours later. I mean,
the cross-selling or the offering of other products, services, that's happening. You're not waiting to do
I'm not waiting
after open enrollment.
Yeah, because,
I think that's fantastic.
Okay, because see, so many agencies, right? They're selling all this stuff. We're so busy with this. We'll be back. And then there's a guy that doesn't do Advantage plans, and he's walking into all your clients' houses. And he's taking care of all the life insurance. He's taking care of all your annuity business. Don't worry about it. I got you. Well, I don't need anyone that got me. You know, I'll get me. Okay.
100%.
So, right? So I'm going to make sure that, and that's the habit that we teach these guys. You know, we got to focus on doing that. We're going to set her up. If it's got to be an Advantage appointment, that's what we're doing. Now you go into a house, you know, it's a traditional appointment. Sometimes those convert into, well, all right, I'm going to have to come back and we'll talk about Advantage plans. I've already done this, that, and the other. We flip those. 2 days later, we're going. You know, so our office goes from having 2 office days, 3 field days. We come in on Monday and book for typically Tuesdays. And then many come back in on Wednesdays and they book for Thursday and Friday. It's kind of the base model. Then people will flex that out. But Monday's an office day, right? We just start booking appointments for Tuesday. Come back in on Wednesday and we can book for Thursday and Friday. Going out, the intent is to at least run 5 appointments a week. Okay, for each writing agent, at least 15 appointments a week set. Okay, try to get 5 appointments done in a day. Okay, if you can get in front of 5 people, you're going to make some things happen. And then during Advantage season, you got it. 6, 7, and 8 appointments are happening. Saturdays are happening more often because they need to do that because they also got their follow-up that they're working on.
Yeah,
you know, meaning the add-on policies that they're going to start selling over and above the Advantage plan.
I love it.
It's smart. It's efficient. Yeah. It's efficient.
But you know, but I want to be clear. I get it though. You know, when you sit down to sell an annuity, I mean, it's twofold. Let's just take a simple, you know, $100,000 annuity. There's a couple $1,000 in it for a brand new rookie agent that they're going to make over $2,000. I mean, they're pretty fired up about that, right? But it takes about 3 to 4 hours to sell that annuity.
Oh yeah.
Well, in that time, could you sell 3 or 4 Advantage plans? How much money would you have made there? So I want to be clear. I mean, what's right, what's wrong, I think is in the way you want to build the business. But we teach our agents when they go into a house, you fill out a needs assessment, you're there, sell everything now. Stop we're going to do that on the turnaround. We're going to do that when we come back and deliver. Why don't you just do it? Hey, you know when's the best time to score a touchdown? Now. Because you just scored one. Score one again now. Why are we waiting?
I love it.
So there's the deal. So it's part of our culture. It's part of our system. So that's how I could truly say I justified it. I think it's just smarter. Take care of the house, man. You're already in it.
I love it. Allie, I had a very unique question I had for you that
all right.
I think we could have asked several guests that we've had come on before, but you guys have been doing the Strong Life podcast for a little while now.
Yep.
I know that this is something that you and I have talked about before about, my podcast, about like maybe, what it's done for my business. What has it done for Strong Family Financial, the podcast? For anybody that wants to get into content creation.
Yep. So, man, we go back and forth about it because we are coming up to, we're now like 91, 92 are being released, right? So we're getting closer to 100. One of the things we always talked about was, man, if we actually ever got to 100, right? Man, we're going to have to get Gary Vee to come on the show. Okay. Gary Vee, right? So we always have joked about that. But man, we'll see what this does. Buddy, I got to tell you, I don't know the dollar figure. I know that we have agents that have come on board and they came on board because they were fans first of the podcast. Okay. There's a few of them, maybe 3 or 4. Again, we're coming around now. So we're releasing show number 90 here, but we're doing 2 a week now. So you could, we've been doing it now actually for like a year and about 3 months. That's how long we've been doing the podcast. Okay. And I feel like we've had, people come in and interview with us. They act like they know me now when they come in. So I think that's good because it makes people more comfortable when they come in and interview. I'd rather them be that way versus them bringing me their representative anyway. Yep. In some ways, it's goofy because they feel a little starstruck. Like, oh my God, because also coming and wait in our waiting room, okay? We got a big monitor out there, and we always say, welcome to the guest who's there, but also the screen has a podcast or a training video, or if, Jamie Strong was doing something. So we got a video always up there. Well, there's a lot of videos of me that are always up there. So people come and they're sitting there, they're watching that, and then they see me like, oh, I'm meeting you. You're the one on TV. That is not a big deal, actually. The video feed's right in my room over there. It's not that big of a deal. It's God to me. It's not that big of a deal. So they get a little starstruck. I think that has value. And if you were considering maybe working at Joe's insurance company and now they're strong, man, we'll go with this. These guys look like they're more 2020. They might think that has more sex appeal. It's more attractive. It's better, When it's all on you, whatever you like. But, I think people like that stuff. When I interview people on the telephone, I'm getting a lot, man, I saw some of that stuff you guys did online. I'm getting a lot more of that. But can I tell you, I believe it's made us more revenue? No, I would say it's cost us more money. Right? Because Will's helping us develop. Will's helping us do all this stuff. Will's not free. No disrespect, right? I'm taking my time out from doing something else. I know there are certain things I can do, and I could directly say time for dollar value.
Sounds like branding. Sounds like you've made a huge investment in your branding.
Yes, buddy.
Long-term branding.
This is what all this is, 100%. And so I got to tell you, so what do I think? I think I'm trying to make it to where when people think insurance, they think Strong Family. And it's done. That's it. We're the place you go because we also do property and casualty. That's something we expanded into a couple years ago. I got a guy in Chicago, Aaron Thompson, grateful for the man. So grateful. He's an awesome man. And he helps our clients out whenever they refer or when our agents refer somebody. He takes care of it, and our agents get a little something for making it happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to me that people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand the long-term value of building that brand. Cause
yes, but I agree.
You might not see the instant gratification today, maybe tomorrow, maybe not even a month from now, but it's crazy. I will have maybe a week where we'll get 3 or 4 calls from the podcast or maybe the main YouTube channel from just,
right.
clients, because ours, a lot of our content we do is beneficiary based, because we want people, to call and want to sign up and that kind of stuff. We just recently started doing the agent content this year, but what people don't realize, they're like, oh, that's so cool, I want to make a podcast. And they're like, I made one episode, nobody called. I'm like, well, I have 250. I'm like, this is like 2.5 years of, busting my butt on this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I used to freak out when a post would go out, like something that was messed up or not right, or man, we need to take that down. Now, I'll get people call, people come to, hey man, that post, oh, really, was it messed up? All right, we'll just get that one down. It's not a big deal.
Likewise.
Okay. Hey, Allie, you spelled that word wrong. Well, that ain't the first time. There's professionalism, but then you can't freak out. And it's about you getting yourself out there, man. I can't tell you. We were at George's Bar. It's a local place here in town in Jinx, where the high school is, and we'd go there like after a high school football game. We were sitting outside just having a couple drinks, and some guy was walking out, goes, I know you love God and love your family. Every message I say at the end of the message. He's just he's all excited. Like, hey man, that's great. What I'm saying?
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I will tell you another cool thing is, when I talk to people and they say, man, I just got to tell you, what you guys do, you just give off a lot of good energy. You guys are just, it's always positive, man. You build everybody up that goes on your show. Everybody feels great after after they're done with your show. Man, if that's all we did, it's hard for somebody like tomorrow, Christian, if you're talking to somebody that says they had a bad experience with Allie Saleh. Okay, well, really? He was a jerk? Okay, yeah. I would hope you didn't have any of that. Those moments will happen, but you try to create more positive energy in the universe than you do negative, And why not compliment somebody else? Why not make somebody feel good? Why not promote somebody else? That's how you build loyalty for yourself too.
That was almost, when we were talking about doing the show with you, that was almost exactly what we talked about. We're talking about how much energy you bring, the positive energy.
That's so true.
Yeah. I
mean,
conversation about it.
Absolutely. And yeah, and it's absolutely, you've delivered. You've absolutely delivered. You guys, I love that. I love the energy, man.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So I have a question for both of you guys, because I think both of you guys are very good interviewers. Like Glenn, you've done several really awesome interviews this year. Like you did one with Joanna, you did one with Nick Ayers, you did like some really killer interviews that I watched, and I just got a lot out of both of them. Allie, you've interviewed a ton of people.
Yes, sir.
What do you think makes a good interview? Glenn, I want to hear your perspective first, and then Allie, I want to hear what you have to say.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's about you want to extract value without it seeming forced, right? So you want to have a conversation that's, you want to feel like you're almost sitting in the room with them, right? I mean, I've listened to so many podcasts. I used to listen to music whenever I was doing something, if I was like driving or working or doing something, but now I almost exclusively listen to podcasts, and that's how it's been for probably almost a couple of years now. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, I want it to feel like I'm eavesdropping on someone else's conversation, and that they're almost like sharing secrets kind of, and you're getting that type of value exchange. And so that's really what I look for. And that's why I love doing these, because like, it almost feels like the less you try to orchestrate it, the better the conversation. And then sometimes that'll lead to even the better content, right? The best content. So that's kind of what I look for, kind of my strategy. But yeah, what do you think, Allie?
I'm bought into all the principles you said. I'm just going to have to add to them, right? Because I don't disagree with any of them, and I think they're all spot on. I would say that, remember, all an interviewer is, right, as we're talking about this, is the same guy that's sitting in front of a client interviewing them to sell them insurance. What's our intent? We got to be intentional with our agenda. So I'm about it being organic, right? Yeah. But organic, not about, so do you like when bald eagles are flying in the air? No value. that ain't going to do it for me today, right? That's not where I got to go. I got to be intentional in my agenda. And really my agenda is to get you, Christian, to talk about yourself, talk about who you are, what's going on. That's going to get you excited and more engaged and wanting to even talk to me. And once you're feeling good, man, what else do we need to extrapolate from this conversation? What else do we need to gather from this person, that has value and has purpose? When I watch, I hate saying this and I love it. So Howard Stern, right? When I was going to college, he was great to watch, and it was all the raunchy stuff and I was all bought in, right? I mean, he was the guy. But, as I've gotten older and as I gotten into the playing around with the podcast stuff and getting started with that, man, I got to tell you, and then you learn about Howard Stern, man, he's an incredible interviewer.
Unbelievable.
Okay? Yeah. So I did a lot. So since the podcast, I've done a lot of watching of it. I would say that I try to model a lot of my time. I would always say it was the ESPN guys for a while. I'd say I do a lot of Howard Stern stuff. I feel like I do a lot of Howard Stern stuff, and he's just super good at making you comfortable, feeling relaxed, and getting from you to say something that's kind of awkward or weird that you wouldn't have told somebody else. But for some reason, these millions of people you're going to tell today because I asked you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beast mode.
I think it's so funny you say that. I don't know if you remember that, but the first video we ever did together, Allie, was one on the Strong Life podcast, and I think we had a pretty lengthy conversation about that. About
great.
I remember it. I remember it because he's been a huge influence on me.
Sure.
In terms of making my own podcast. Like my biggest challenge when I started the Everything Medicare podcast was how do I take the most boring subject on earth and make it interesting?
Right.
And make people actually want to listen.
Somebody care.
Yeah. And the first, if you go back and listen to the first 10 episodes, they're very monotone, if you will. They're very instructional video kind of stuff. And as you go further into the catalog, I start to get a little bit more out there,
Sure. Right.
And it's mainly just about, and there's been episodes where I've said something that wasn't true or something like that, not like saying like something's covered that's not or anything like that, but like I'll try to find a way to make the topic interesting or engaging for somebody. Mm-hmm. And I studied a lot of Stern to kind of learn how to do that. Like he was probably the main person. He's so good at it. He's ridiculous.
Yeah. And but now it's all just second nature. I mean, it's not not a thought. It's just who he is. I still feel like, I'll sit down and I take notes all the time when I'm doing interviews because I'm not good at remembering things. And I want to be intentional though in an organic format. So that means that organically I'm gathering information during the show to come back at you with versus having an agenda. All right, I'm going to talk about their family and I'm going to talk about this and we're going to dive into that subject.
Right.
We did a podcast with a lady last week, and one of the things in her life that she had happen is she felt like she had a calling to donate her kidney. And amazingly as it is, you can watch the episode. It was last week's show. Shannon had somebody she was an exact match for that needed a kidney, and she was there for him, right? That's just amazing. She tells me later, after the show's over, she's so grateful that I asked her about that because she hates bringing it up because it makes it sound like, she don't want to make it so hokey, like something with her and God. I said, why not make it hokey about you and God? I think it's freaking great. If someone's got a problem with it, have you bumped into someone that's your exact kidney match? Because that doesn't happen every day. So that's
something to brag about. Yeah.
But she was excited for me to ask. Well, the only reason I knew to ask was because she was a referral to me by somebody else to get on the show. And I always ask them, well, what are some cool things maybe I need to look to talk about? Again, I don't think that's planning. I think that's just being intentional because when we get together, I got to find ways to extrapolate what's the best. I'm trying to show everyone the best version of this individual.
I'm a big Tim Ferriss fan. He's one of the main reasons I actually started my business.
Okay.
Was at the time I read the 4-Hour Workweek, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't really matter what my company looks like. It's just being self-sufficient. And so I followed his journey, and he started the Tim Ferriss show, and kind of watching him progress. There it is.
I got that somewhere.
I read the whole thing. I don't care what Glen said. I read the whole thing.
highly recommend that book, you guys. I think there's so many applicable ideologies that he shares about business in there, but he talks about word choice, and then when he phrases questions to his guests, he'll like say the same question twice, but he'll ask it like two different ways. So, hey Christian, what do you think of this coming open enrollment? What are some things that you're looking at doing, getting ready for open enrollment? And I feel like it gives your guests some time to start thinking about what they're going to say. And then also, you know, one way of saying the question might not really click with Christian, but then the second way I phrased it, maybe that triggers something. So, you know, I think, again, that applies for insurance agents too. Like if you're talking with someone, if you're taking an application, right, maybe you need to rephrase your question and what you're trying to get that information out of someone.
100%.
So, yeah, word choice, I think, is huge.
Yeah, 100%. It's not always what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think it comes back to that. I mean, I remember when I read that book and before you read that book, you actually think you're supposed to work 4 hours a week. Like you think like that's the philosophy of the book. And like people get that wrong. You know,
absolutely.
More so
that's the number one thing for sure.
Hey, it works though. You put in front of a book, 4-hour work week, people are going to buy it. It works.
That book sold.
Oh, millions. Yeah.
Yep.
I was listening to a video the other day and Cardone was like trashing Tim Ferriss and like, we know the 4-hour work week and everything like that. And he's like, and you know, he's like, I don't give a damn what you say. You can't work 4 hours a week, man. He's like, the dude's lying to you. I'm like, okay, Grant's never read the book.
Yeah, clearly.
You know, I'm like, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, huge fan, but I'm like, he hasn't read the book.
Yeah,
that's great.
Allie, what's a book that you would recommend that you've read recently?
Buddy, you know what, man? That's great because I love reading. So yeah. I'm a huge fan. I'm just looking over at some of the books I have over there as I'm just thinking. So right now, I'll just tell you what we're in the middle of right now because I love the book we're in the middle of right now, The 360 Leader by John Maxwell.
Okay. I haven't heard of this one.
Okay. So, you know, John Maxwell's got a gajillion books, right? You already know that. Okay. So this one's called The 360 Leader. Okay. It's a fascinating book. A matter of fact, you don't have it?
I don't. I have 3 John Maxwell books, but not that one. I was like,
okay, so it's real easy. Here's all I need you both to do. I need you both, when the show's over or whatever, you guys can text me your mailing address. Will and I will make sure that you both get a copy of the book.
Awesome.
And you know what?
Thank you.
I'm not even John Maxwell, so don't even worry. There won't even be a fake. You want me to sign it, John Maxwell? I can sign it.
John Maxwell.
I'm going to sign it, John Maxwell. And then people say, "Hey, is it a signed John Maxwell book?" You'll be like, "Yeah."
Totally. First edition. It's a first edition.
They'll be like, "This doesn't look right. I have a signed one too, and it's different."
Okay. Well, if you don't want me to sign it, John Maxwell, I won't. Okay. I was doing it for you guys. Okay. No, but if you both do me a favor, please, both of you guys, text me your addresses, and I'll make sure that we'll order you both one, and we'll get them shipped to you guys. Awesome. So what I love about the book is for everybody because it's the John Maxwell, it's the 360 Leader. And the whole theme of the book is, where do you sit in an organization? And you're probably somewhere in the middle of that organization. And how do you navigate to get your leaders above you to do things you might want done or how you want them done and how you make the company better, but also get the people underneath you because you're the 360 leader. So you're somewhere in the middle to get them bought in and also help you to do what need happen to create the upheaval that you need to have in the company to make things move. And how do you work with the president who has that kind of ego or the vice president that's got this kind of thing? It's just such a good navigation book in understanding the principles and always remembering at the end of it all, it's how well you serve. We'll see how well your leadership grows. You know, but it's a powerful book. We're in the middle of it. And if you haven't read it, it's a book by John Maxwell. Everybody needs to read, you know, if you're into leadership. I want to say, if you're in leadership is not sales. And I keep saying that because conversations I have, oh yeah, man, I've read those leadership books. Okay, well, how many people are you leading? Nobody. Okay, well, listen, then you don't need to read leadership books. Read more. Sales books are sales books. Leadership books are leadership books. When Gary Vee says, I don't read books, that's because I think he's got a mind. He has an understanding of for whatever reason God put in his brain, the fundamentals of leadership. He doesn't fascinate me as this incredible business owner. He is. I think he gets it, man. He gets the leadership side of it. And leadership is about development of people and helping people rise. Salesmen are incredible talents that can go out there and sell a ton of stuff, whatever it is. I think I'm an incredible salesman, and I think I'm an incredible leader that continues to develop in both areas. I'm not going to say I'm anything less because I got to believe in myself. So I'm incredible, but I strive to be better at both. But I definitely live in a space now where I'm in a leadership space more than I am a salesman space.
It's extremely difficult. It's probably one of the single most difficult things I've taken on in my life.
Yes, sir.
Is being a leader. And, you know, everyone looks at entrepreneurship and owning a business and running a company, and they see it as almost celebrity status, right? Like, oh my gosh, he's rich and he gets to do whatever he wants. But it's almost the opposite. There's a book called Leaders Eat Last, which is another fantastic book that I'd recommend to anybody. But you know, I have 70 people on my payroll, and there's so much to that. There's so many, you know, you talk about egos, you talk about, you know, different levels of responsibility and management. And then it's kind of, when we talked about family earlier and like balancing your time, it's kind of the same way inside my company, where it's like, I'm trying to figure out who needs my time this week. You know, do I need to do middle management? Do they need my time? Is it my top level management? Do I need to get in front of, you know, my employees? And trying to balance that is extremely difficult. And, you know, a lot of people will make fun of salespeople who can't lead, but like you said, I love that. It's two completely different things. And not saying that a great salesman can't also be a great leader, but being a great leader doesn't mean you're a great salesman, and vice versa. It's two very different skill sets.
100%.
Yeah.
So
they're different.
I think it's real similar to like a great athlete that tries to go be a coach and he can't coach other people, like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the perfect example of that. You know, so Michael Jordan's, a lot of people think he's the best basketball player ever. I do. Even though I post things that make it seem like I don't, because I just like to get a rise out of people. But anyway, Michael Jordan's a perfect example. You know, he could do it himself. Like, he was a killer when he stepped on the court. He transitions into coaching. Actually, no, it's management, actually, you know, running a team.
Right.
And his ownership didn't work. He didn't transfer.
Yeah. And before, when he was running the Wizards, right, as the general manager, like, it wasn't working. Right. And it's interesting. It's interesting kind of how that dynamic goes. Like, you know, you could almost make the argument that teaching other people how to duplicate what you've done is harder than doing it yourself.
And yet the common thing that you hear people say is that those who can't do teach, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Christian. I think it's the opposite. I think trying to teach someone to do something is significantly harder than just doing it yourself.
I think I'm a huge sports fan, and I thank God that this COVID thing, wherever we're living in it right now, that sports is starting to navigate its way and, you know, make itself normal at some level, God willing. But what's fascinating to me is when we talk about this subject, the line, like Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul and God rest his daughter's soul, and the people that were on that helicopter. I think if that man was alive today, he would have changed the face of the WNBA, because his daughter was a phenom. She would have been in it. He would have invested all in. He would have ended up doing something somewhere, right, and put a stamp on it and made it more accepting or more normal for women to play basketball or whatever that would be, you know, because what's the top WNBA player make, about $110,000? I mean, it's not, I don't define that as normal. That's not, you know, it isn't in the normal, like, women's basketball isn't like women's golf or tennis. You know, and I think Kobe could have took it there. But I think Kobe could have been an incredible coach, because when you listen to him communicate, he's such I'm the best, and I can teach you to do what I do. You know, and you believed him. With Jordan, it was like, and listen, I'm a Jordan fan. Remember, I'm a Pistons fan. I'm from Detroit, so we helped man him up. You know what I'm saying? Okay, to make him the great player he was. Okay, but when you look at Jordan, Jordan was the best, and y'all better just keep up. Is kind of how he made you feel. You better keep up. I'm really good, and you're going to be better because I'm here. Kobe's like, you're going to be better because I'm here. Now, here, real quick, do this, that'll make you better. Do this, that'll make you better. He had more of that natural charisma. I think that could have helped him in coaching, management, leadership of a team, or whatever the role may have been.
So I noticed Tony's been very active in the comment section of the live, and he had a question that I thought was really a good question.
Great. What did he say?
He said, is it possible to be a great leader but a shitty salesman?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can?
I think you can.
You said absolutely too? Will told me absolutely too. Okay. So
there's overlapping qualities for sure, right?
Okay. Well, let's talk about the most important. What are the most important?
Is it more important to be a good salesman or to be a good leader?
Well, tell me how a leader's a leader without being a salesman.
So that's a tough one for me because I look at it from a leader perspective. You have to sell that person that one, they're capable. True. Number two, it's in their best interest.
So what I'm going to say is yes, you can have mediocre leaders that lack salesmanship because it takes salesmanship as an important quality and characteristic for a leader. You want proof? All you got to know is a guy named Bill Gates. Bill Gates had a software they kind of stole and really copycatted for somebody else with an inferior product. But early on, he proved to be a better salesman.
Right.
He proved to be a better salesman, so everybody would have their computer, not say Apple, but say IBM, say Microsoft, say whatever it is you want, but he had the DOS software, right? He was a better salesman. When you talk about Gary Vee, why is Gary Vee on everybody's news feed? Because he's the best salesman at it, right? But what is he? He's leading from the front by example, using communication skills and salesmanship to lead what his cause is. Jesus led a revolution, right? I mean, he was a salesman. He went door to door. He got 12 people in his downline. Somebody quit, went down to 11, and they kept building it. Right?
That was wonderful.
Right? That's it. But it's leadership, man. And Jesus had to be a sales. He's selling the day.
So I totally agree. Like, especially if you're a founder, you're a visionary, like you have to sell someone on your vision to go and do what you're trying to get done. So I totally agree with that. The reason I said no initially is I think if you take the classic salesman who has, a really big ego and you're doing exactly what I say, it's my way or the highway, right? So if you, and like we said, sometimes those really great salespeople don't translate into great leaders because again, as a leader, you really have to listen more than you're talking. So I think you do have to have some sales quality, like you have to have some salesmanship ability. If you have zero sales ability, you'll probably struggle as a leader. But I don't think the best salespeople translate into leaders.
No, and I agree with that. Because someone's a rock star salesman does not mean they're going to be a great leader. And a great leader doesn't mean he's going to be a rock star salesman. But I want to be clear. Take your CFO. You've got a big company. You got a CFO, right? If your CFO sucks at sales, he's not going to excite the troops on the finance plan. Okay? Because he's got to sell them. If your kids go to school and they come home and say, Dad, my teacher sucks, right? You know what he's telling you? My teacher doesn't know how to entertain me and keep my attention in this boring topic called multiplication or algebra or whatever it is. It is the job of the teacher to be a salesman. Listen, you go to any nice neighborhood anywhere in the country, there's only 3 types of people that live there. Doctors, lawyers, and salesmen in their industry. That's it. That's what you have living there. And then you got kids that got hooked up. Think about it. Go drive any gated neighborhood, knock on 20 doors. Doctor, lawyer, salesman, doctor, lawyer, salesman, doctor, lawyer, every time. Because why? Salesmen are also, they understand what motivates, and then there's those that separate themselves, and they can be leaders of salesmen.
So where do you divide the line between marketers and salesmen?
Right.
Ooh, I like
marketers. Marketers are kind of the hype man, right? Like salesmen they're the ones closing the deal.
Right.
Like they're getting it done. So I totally agree with what you just said. I think sales, like you have to have sales ability, and all these different things are almost like miniature sales transactions, right?
Yes.
So where does marketing where is that line?
Is it a marketer, a promoter, right? Like celebrities have promoters. Their job is they know the avenues, the places to go, and the way to promote you. But get ready. The moment me as the promoter, me as the marketer is ready, I need you to wind up like a top and perform because I'm promoting you to perform. right? So I would say marketing is like a promoter. And you know what a promoter also is always doing? They're selling.
So yeah, it's sales to the masses, right? That's kind of how I look at it. You're selling.
But there's an order. See, there's a structure there. The salesman's ready to a salesman can only sell to the individual or people he's speaking to in the moment. The promoter's trying to promote to everybody so you all come into the salesman.
I think there's a lot of overlapping qualities of a
100
salesperson. I think for a marketer, they are very strategic in terms of getting a particular message in front of somebody. But like, there's a lot of marketers out there today that don't get in front of a camera.
Right.
Like they're just designing an ad, maybe with, wording
for sure
or something like that. So but at the same time, you could be a fantastic salesperson and not understand those strategic nuances to be a marketer. I think
for sure.
It's interesting to me because I think there's some overlapping things, but I think they're very different at the same time.
But I'll say this, Christian, but I think what happens, I think we live in a world where at some level, it's goofy to me that we don't, salesmanship is an incredible skill set. Okay. And what happens is we minimize it because someone might think negatively about a salesman. My wife and I met a doctor that has done multiple surgeries on my kids for ear, nose, and throat stuff. When we met, so when my wife and I were looking for the first one for our oldest, when she needed surgery, we met 3 different doctors. We both loved Dr. Vidya. He's the guy that we go to. You know why? Because when we were in his room, he talked to my wife and he put her mind at ease. He explained how he's going to do it and how he's an expert at it. He sold us on what a damn good doctor he is. And then the next week when we came to the surgery, he saw me again. Mr. Saleh, good to see you. I said, yeah, man, we're ready for the surgery today. He goes, oh, yeah, I've already had 4 this morning. I said, Doc, it's 7:30. He goes, yeah, I started my first one at 6. I was like, whoa, how many? He goes, I'm going to do 14 to 18 surgeries today. I go, you do that?
That's why they live in the gated neighborhood, y'all, right?
Right. But you know what I learned? Listen to what he told me. He does surgeries Tuesdays and Thursdays because he does meetings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays when he's running the appointments, filling his appointment log for Tuesday and Thursday.
There you go.
He's a salesman.
Yeah.
He's selling what he does, and he's good at it because he's got me back for more and more and referrals. Here I am talking. Look, if you guys have any ear, nose, throat problems with your kids, I'm telling you, bring them to Tulsa, Oklahoma. The guy's a beast, and your kids are going to be great, right? I mean, he's a salesman. The reason why he's doing our business is because he sold me better than the other doctors did. So a great doctor is great, but a great doctor that has salesmanship is going to be the top doctor.
I love the doctor analogy for insurance because I tell agents all the time, if you call a doctor's office, does the doctor pick up the phone or is it the front desk?
That's right.
Is the doctor setting his own appointments or is someone setting their appointments for him? Is he doing all of his own paperwork or is someone doing the paperwork for him?
100%.
It really is. Like you look at it and his time is so valuable. Now it's by education. But as an insurance agent, you can choose to value your time just as high. Just because 100%. You didn't go to school for 8 years, it doesn't matter. You can literally hold the same value for your time and execute at that same exact level. You don't touch anything that is a low-level task, and you can make a fortune, just like a doctor does. And I love that analogy.
Beautiful.
I love it.
So I guess, Tony stirred that up, and I love it. But so I guess I would, is Donald Trump a good salesman? He became president of the United States. It takes salesmanship to do it. And then, someone said ego or something. Hey, I want to be clear, right? We're in a salesman environment. Salesman, saleswoman. When I say salesman, I mean men and women. We're in a sales environment. They're supposed to have an edge, a little ego, a little swag, a little confidence. Healthy, not unhealthy. We don't need narcissists. But again, we're dealing with salespeople. And any good salesman knows they're better than they really are. Okay? Myself included. I think I'm better than I am. But I have to, right? Because me and Will were talking about this. We have an agency of 70 agents. When we get together, every time they walk in our facility, if it's not positive 100%, there's a problem because it's us against that thing called rejection. And when we walk out of this building, it's us against the world when it comes to rejection. So we build each other up. We support each other. We high five each other, and we only say nice things to each other. Because when we go out there, it's big, bad, and dirty, So that's, in essence, that's leadership, because the first person you lead when you're a leader is you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
I don't know, Tony, if you're still listening, maybe I went off on a tangent, dude.
That was
Tony,
great.
go smoke some meat, Tony. Get back.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Exactly.
Go play some
Right.
poker.
Yeah, I know. He's always bragging.
Go
It's
out
like he's always
shooting.
bragging.
Go shooting. Go shooting. Shoot the meat, and then
He
Yeah.
probably just came in here to stir the pot up. But yeah, I
That's
appreciate the question.
Yeah.
Ollie, I really appreciate your time today. I know how valuable your time is.
I appreciate
And
you, sir.
kind of, as we wrap things up, I like to ask final thoughts. So again, really appreciate your energy, just the time we've been able to spend with you today. But yeah, any final thoughts that you'd want to share here on Taco Tuesday?
But just real quick, I just want to mention to anybody that is interested or looking to get involved in the insurance business as well, if they want to reach out, they can call me on my cell at 918-513-2797. But most guys, anyway, we're all in this closed group anyway, right? So everybody's already in the business, already shopping or whatever, been approved to be part of this group. So I guess that doesn't matter. Buddy, as a, I guess, I appreciate you guys getting me on the show.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you're someone listening to this podcast today and you've been getting fired up because Advantage season's coming, I want you to know I think there's something wrong there. Because stop getting excited just about Advantage season. Treat every day of your insurance business like Advantage season's about to start. Because let me tell you why. When you're going out tomorrow and you might be having an incredible day, awesome. High five, it's always good to come home. Okay. But when you're out the next day and you're having like your shittiest day ever, here's what I want you to remember. 3 or 4 houses down from you, there's an insurance guy having his best day ever. So remember that. Take every moment like it's your last. I'm telling you, you build your business that way. Amazing things happen in such a short amount of time.
That's strong.
That's what I got. Strong.
I love it.
That's what we say here. Strong.
Yeah, it is strong. To build on that, my final thoughts, you guys, there's 45 million Medicare beneficiaries out there. So just like Ollie was saying, there's no reason that you can't have an open enrollment type day or week, any week of the year.
Yep.
Whether you're selling something Medicare related or not selling something Medicare related, this is
Right.
your market. We're here, we're in 6-figure Medicare Agent. There's, only 100,000 Medicare agents, maybe, licensed with these carriers. And there's millions and millions of beneficiaries who need help.
Yes, sir.
It's an astounding number. We talked about the saturation of the Medicare marketplace, and I don't think we're anywhere near that, nor do I see any point where we will get to a point where agents saturate the marketplace. So take advantage of it. And just like Ollie said, there's no reason you can't have that every single day. I love it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I like it. So,
Christian, if you're wrapping up, I just want to say thank you to you personally as well. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been on the show. You initiated it. I'm grateful for that. Thank you very much. It gives me an opportunity to be out here with you guys also and get our name out there too. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. I don't want to mess that up and share my gratitude. Appreciate you. And Glen, to be able to meet you, sir, has been awesome. And I appreciate us taking time. We definitely will get on together to, some more and spend some more time together. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I would too.
Please, both of you, I need you to make sure you text me my cell phone number, Glen, just so we make sure if you want to write it down, or obviously you can get it from
I'll get it.
Christian.
I'll get it. Don't worry about it.
But please, and I'll get you guys both. I'll make sure it happens tomorrow. I'll get books shipped out to both of you guys tomorrow.
thanks,
Great.
Ollie. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Guys, my final thoughts are really short, and then we'll close this thing out. I did a live yesterday where I just really wanted to just talk about this just for a second, and I'll just kind of reiterate what I said in my live yesterday. The first is really when open enrollment starts. It's not the 15th, right? The craziness starts the first. Like I've had 5 clients today call the office today, and they're like, I'm starting to see these commercials and I'm getting confused, and I'm just like, I'm not ready.
Turn your TV off.
Turn it off. Yeah, I'm like, break it. But in all seriousness, guys, like the rest of this week and next week before the first is the time to get all of your minimal tasks out of the way. Whatever you got to do that's going to distract you for the next couple of months, get it out of the way. You got something at home you got to take care of it. You got a light bulb you got to change it. And, if you have, some customer service issues for your business, or, whatever it is, get it done, because you don't want to be distracted with it during AEP. A lot of people, they put things off and then all of a sudden it blows up in their face right in the middle of AEP. Don't be that person. So that's just my final thoughts.
Love it.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back next week. Taco Tuesday.
God bless. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.